Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to California Baptist University and the Lancer Aquatics Center. I'm Travis Van Nody. So glad you're along for this intra-squad swim meet this afternoon. This is also part of the CSCAA Fall Virtual Cup. So in total, this morning and this afternoon will be 16 events for both men and women. So the first event's going to be the women's 400-yard freestyle relay, followed by the men. Event 3 will be the women's 1,000-yard freestyle, followed by the men. And then event 5 will be the women's 100-yard freestyle. The next event will be the women's 200-yard butterfly, followed by the women's 200-yard backstroke, and the women's 200-yard breaststroke. And then the final few events will be the women's 200-yard freestyle, and lastly it'll be the women's and men's 100-yard individual medley. So in lane 2 is Lydia Bartlett, Bianca Hoyer, Jenna Washburn, and Nicole Cienega. In lane 3 is Hannah Holton, Rebecca Oviedo, Isabella Rhodes, Rita Smirnova. And in lane 4 is Faith Brazil, Mia Maspers, Lauren McKenna, and Kylie Morrison. Just out front a bit is Faith Brazil in lane 4, the sophomore.
Got a good race between first, second, and third.
Well, special also this afternoon because the athletes were encouraged to wear Halloween costumes, so we have a few of them that are indeed wearing some Halloween costumes. Lane 4 out first, and Mia Maspers now in the pool, followed by Bianca Hoyer and Rebecca Oviedo. Got off the block last there in lane 3. Opening up a bit of a cushion, Mia Maspers. Of course, swim does have a bit of a prolonged season, and it would normally be going on right now. Normally about mid-October is when women's and men's swimming and diving starts, with the WAC championships in March. Still, it's lane 4 in the lead, Lauren McKenna. Falling a bit behind now is Jenna Washburn in lane 2.
Number 3, making a move on that first turn already. The 18.
Oh, close right now between Lauren McKenna and Isabella Rhodes.
Rhodes with a very slight lead. McKenna right there with her.
Coming up in lane 3, Rhodes is now in the lead. Heading into the final 25.
In lane number 2, Nicole Cienega. Lane 3, Rita Smirnova. Lane 4, Kylie Morrison.
Off the block first is Rita Smirnova in lane 3. And still trailing in lane 2 is Nicole Cienega.
3 with the commanding lead, Smirnova. Qualifying Morrison in 4. Qualifying Cienega in 2.
Now a more significant lead for Smirnova.
And they're separating themselves.
And keeps getting bigger for Rita Smirnova.
Making a little bit of a comeback there. The B team that lead for the first 200 yards. A team takes over. And it looks like it will be the A team. Unofficially lane 3.
Oh, lane 3 comes in first, Rita Smirnova.
3:42.1.
Kylie Morrison and finally Nicole Cienega in lane 2. So in lane 3, combined 3:38s, lane 4, 3:42, and finally lane 2, 3:46. So those are the final results. Hannah Holton, Rebecca Oviedo, Isabella Rhodes, and Rita Smirnova take the first event, the women's 400-yard freestyle relay. Up now, event 2, the men's 400-yard freestyle relay. In lane 2, Matthias Scarano, Hunter Harbauer, Hunter May, and David Miller. Lane 3, Matthew Nicolay, Jacob Leahy, Colton Babcock, and Josh Walters. And in lane 4, Robert Mosley, Cody Mayer, Trevor Van Law, and Ian Bennett. Lane 4 and lane 3 tight to begin. Nicolay and Mosley. And trailing in lane 2, Matthias Scarano. The first turn is going to be close between Scarano and Nicolay, or make it Mosley and Nicolay. Oh, just out first, Leahy. And finally in lane 2, Harbauer. Opening up a significant lead is Leahy.
Make sure we are using the bucket.
Now this is a runaway so far for Jacob Leahy, the redshirt senior. Getting a significant head start, Colton Babcock. Followed by Trevor Van Law. And in lane 2 now, Hunter May. Last leg in lane 3, Josh Walters. Well, this is going to be a runaway for lane number 3. In the pool now, Ian Bennett. Lane 2, David Miller.
Really depending on that lead, he's supposed to put a good time here. This 18 is supposed to have a worthy virtual lead.
The last leg for Josh Walters. Lane 3 comes in first at 3:07. Lane 4, 3:19. Lane 2 clocks in at 3:31. Again, the results: lane 3, the victors, Matthew Nicolay, Jacob Lee, Colton Babcock, and Josh Walters at 3:07. Lane 4, 3:19. Lane 2, 3:31. We'll take a 5-minute break. Coming up next will be the women's 1,000-yard freestyle, followed by the men. Back in a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, we will be combining our 1,003. Men and women will be combining. The ladies will be in lane 1 and 2, Brubaker Bartlett. In that order, Brubaker 1, Bartlett 2, with a split between them in lane 3. Cody Meyer will be in 4, and Hunter Harbauer will be in 5. We will start up shortly here, ladies and gentlemen.
My name is Zach Acosta and I'm a freshman here at Cal Baptist University. I'm a business major here at CBU. I have a minor in marketing. My dreams are to do something in marketing. I also work here on campus at the campus store. I realized that, I need to mature, I need to be responsible, I need to make more decisions on my own. I made my first purchase on my car that I bought all by myself, and it wouldn't be without Altura.
You care, you love, you provide, you shelter, you rebuild the broken places. And as you do, you meet needs, you build relationships, you share the gospel. That is the hope of Jesus Christ. That is Send Relief.
My name is Zach Acosta and I'm a freshman here at Cal Baptist University. I'm a business major here at CBU. I have a minor in marketing. My dreams are to do something in marketing. I also work here on campus at the campus store. I realized that, I need to mature, I need to be responsible, I need to make more decisions on my own. I made my first purchase on my car that I bought all by myself, and it wouldn't be without Altura.
Welcome back to the Lancer Aquatics Center in Riverside. I'm Travis Van Odie. We're getting ready for the women's 1,000-yard freestyle, and I believe it's going to be actually combined with the men's 1,000-yard freestyle. Well, so far in event one, the women's 400-yard freestyle relay. Hannah Holton, Rebecca Oviedo, Isabella Rhodes, and Rita Smirnova in lane 3 took it. Event 2 in the men's 400-yard freestyle relay. It was also lane 3. Matt Nicolay, Jacob Leahy, Colton Babcock, and Josh Walters.
We appreciate you being here and supporting us.
And a little shout out to the new CBU Athletics Director, taking in this intra-squad scrimmage for California Baptist.
Lap counters are at the other end of the pool.
About 1 minute away from the 1,000-yard freestyle. This will be a little bit longer an event, of course, so perhaps we'll get an interview during this. We'll see.
The lap counters, please.
Coming up after the 1,000-yard freestyle will be the 100-yard freestyle, followed by the 200-yard butterfly. then the 200-yard backstroke, followed by the 200-yard breaststroke, the 200-yard freestyle, and lastly this afternoon will be the 100-yard individual medley.
Separating between the guys and girls, we have Cody Meyer in lane 4 and Hunter Harbauer in lane
So it will be the men and the women going at the same time. Cody Meyer for the men in lane 4, Hunter Harbauer in lane 5. In lane 1 is Mallory Brubaker. Lydia Bartlett is in lane 2. Off and running on the 1,000-yard freestyle. And again, as you might see in these shots, the student athletes, some of them have donned the Halloween costumes. It's Halloween day. And it looks like we will have an interview during this 1,000-yard freestyle.
All right, we're on.
Well, who do we have with us?
So right now in lane number 1, we have a state champ from Oregon, Sisters Oregon. Sorry, lane number 2, Sisters Oregon, Lydia Bartlett. Also Mallory Brubaker. She is from the Modesto Ripon Club up north, 2 of our distance swimmers. And on the guys, we have a freshman, Cody Meyer, from the Palm Desert area, and also Hunter Harbauer from Las Vegas, 2 freshmen. Our freshmen, we brought in actually some very talented freshman distance swimmers. It's a little bit smaller meet than what we would normally go, as we're not going head-to-head here in person, but we are swimming virtually against over 20 different teams in the country right now. All of these times will go into a database, and we will see how these athletes will fare. Right now, the boys are splitting out 29 mid, 29 high splits, which is pretty good. It's like the ladies are splitting 32, 31 seconds for the 1,000. The 1,000's a 40 length distance. It's a challenging but grueling event. I can relate. I was a distance swimmer in college. When the sprinters get out of practice, the distance swimmers are still going. They train actually another practice each day than all of the other swimmers on the team combined. Mid-distance and sprinters will train 9 practices a week, and distance will train 10. That's a dedicated group of swimmers.
Well, how's training been going so far?
Training is going well. We just completed week 9. The first 2 weeks were 8-hour weeks, and then we transitioned to 20-hour weeks. We went through a few days where we had the fires and the air conditions not so good, where we had to cut out practices, but for the most part, the training has gone quite well. Many of these athletes were shut down from their clubs and club pools and access to pools between March and June, and most people did not really get back into the water on a daily basis until July.
Wow.
So we are really getting them back to where I think they were, you know, getting a little closer. I wouldn't say we're at mid-season form yet, but we're getting closer. It's really just about 2 months in. We did have some athletes that were blessed with access to facilities out of state in Arizona or Texas, and they were actually able to swim as early as April, May, or June, and so they came back a little more fit.
Okay.
We did quite a bit of cross training, yoga, running, mountain biking, you know, whatever you could put together at home. We had people with backyard pools that were doing tethered swimming, where you'd attach yourself to an immovable object, tie it around your waist, an elastic cord, and tether and swim in place for a half an hour, hour at a time to kind of get the feel for swimming. Not the same, obviously. Not being able to execute real turns and, you know, get to train against somebody next door and pace off of them. So we got pretty spoiled. You didn't realize how good you had it when you don't have a facility to train at.
Very true.
So we're really lucky. There's lots of programs that started much later than us, and some that still haven't had their first practice yet. Some other D2 and D3 schools. Most of your Division I schools are back at it. Some started later than others, and I feel like we got a good jump on it.
That's good to hear.
Good where we're at right now.
Well, it sounds like you've adapted well even during these challenging times, so that's good.
Most definitely. I'm proud of the kids. I feel like right now we're in a phase where we're only 3 weeks away from finals, so we'll grind it through for a couple more weeks, back off during final exams. We'll only go single practices. We are allowed to train during final exams because we're a winter sport. The athletes will go home after Thanksgiving for about a week, the week of Thanksgiving actually, and then we will come back and have some pretty full training between November 30th and the 16th, and we'll take about an 11-day break and come back, train the 28th through the beginning of school the 11th, and we picked up a couple of meets with Cal State Bakersfield, UNLV, an invite at UNLV in early January, so we'll be back at going head-to-head against other teams, which will be challenging for us.
And for those
better than going against ourselves in a virtual meet with just a database entry.
Right, for sure. Yeah, for those that don't know, CBU started earlier this year, so that the semester could be done before Thanksgiving. A little bit different this year. But it's just amazing that we're able to put this on virtually with so many different schools competing at the same time.
Well, we had fun today too. Before the competition, we had a full costume pageant where the athletes came in dressed up in different themes. We had Jurassic Park. We had Napoleon Dynamite theme, 3 of them. We had, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember all the different groups. We had some firemen that looked kind of like a little bit like the YMCA group there a little bit. And they actually put on some music and let them dance to YMCA. So we had some fun over there. And of course, yours truly, Bat Coach. I'm out of my full Batman outfit and now just kind of going casual Bat Coach.
Nice.
With the shirt and the mask.
I approve. Batman's my favorite, so.
You know, doesn't get much better than Bat Coach. So he's my alter ego. He comes out every year at around not Thanksgiving actually. I bring him out quite a bit, but he comes out in full dress during Halloween.
Nice. But normally your season begins in mid-October, is that correct? Or
we actually begin about mid-October, and the season ends mid-March for nationals. So being a winter sport, we mirror basketball and wrestling. So we are one of the sports that goes the entire year. It seems like we're always in the water. We begin typically in September. This year we started in August. We'll follow some of the breaks during Thanksgiving and Christmas, but we hit it pretty hard when most people are home vacationing. We're a couple weeks here during the Christmas break training, and we'll be doing that again this year. And we'll be competing as well this year.
So in the WAC, again, for those that don't know, it's a little bit different. There are 6 teams or schools in the WAC on the men's side. Of course,
correct.
CBU, Grand Canyon, Seattle, and then affiliates Air Force, UNLV, and Wyoming.
Correct.
For the women, there are 7. CBU, GCU, Seattle, New Mexico State, and then Dixie State as well, joining the conference this year,
correct.
of course. And the 2 affiliates are Northern Arizona and Northern Colorado. So do you have any kind of sense at all what the WAC will kind of be like this year?
Well, NAU on the women's side has won 6 in a row. We led for the first day and a half conference, and we scared them last year. Our women were runner-up last year. Our men were runner-up to GCU 2 years ago. So we've jumped into the WAC conference and been very competitive. Last year on the guys, we sat some individual qualifiers that were going to Olympic trials and Olympic games. And we sat them last year, so our men's team didn't have the depth that we had 2 years ago, but we're excited about the group that we have coming back. We currently have a few swimmers that have opted out and are training internationally with their national programs, and will be returning end of November, December to join us the 2nd semester, and when competition begins in December. Brandon Schuster swam in the Rio Olympics. He's training in New Zealand right now. Husey Topçu, who's from Turkey, is training with the Turkish national team right now. She was the NCAA champ in Division II in the 500 free a few years back. One of our more talented distance swimmers. We have Alina Jungklaus coming back from Germany, actually on Monday. She's been training at home. She opted out, but she's going to be joining us. We also have Adit Ratsenka in Indonesia training very, very heavily back there opting out, taking his classes online. But we have a few internationals that opted out at the beginning, and they're joining us in the second half of the season when we start hitting head-to-head competition.
Well, that all sounds great. So nearing the end here of the 1,000-yard freestyle.
Yes, you can see right now our leader is Cody Meyer in lane number 4, followed by Hunter Harbauer. We had the bell lap, and it looks like unofficially we go 10:03:07 for Cody Meyer, followed by Hunter Harbauer 10:06:96. And Lydia bringing it home. She's just got, I think, another 75 yards to go.
So those times, you happy with those times?
Yeah, those are solid times for those guys. That means they're holding 30s the whole way. It's a good pace. It's a real good pace for them. When we rest them and put on tech suits, you know, they'll probably drop another 20 to 30 seconds off that. When you rest for a couple weeks, shave and taper, put on a tech suit, shave the body down, that's when we see the big drops in the distance swimmers. Like I said, they've been training 10 practices a week. They're grinding it. You know, we're in the weight room 3 days a week with Coach M. Rob, and the kids have been really training hard both in and out of the pool. And here comes our final length here. And Brubaker has just 50 yards left, but Lydia from Sisters Oregon touches first for the ladies. 11:16:91. We'll have a short little break after this so they can recover. Normally in dual meets, we have heats of women, heats of men. We do take 2 natural breaks. We'll go 16 events. We'll take a break at about the halfway mark after about 8 events. And then a few more events, and we'll take a break before the last few events. So there's some time for recovery. And that is Mallory Brubaker, 11:47:03. And that is the end of our 1,000 challenging, grueling event. Next up will be our women's 200 butterfly and our men's 200 butterfly. We are going longer races this week. Last week in our virtual meet, we went the hundreds of stroke, 100 fly, 100 back, 100 breast, 200 IM, and we also had the 50 free last week. And then we went a different relay last week. We went our 200 medley relay last week. So each week we go through some different events virtually with the other teams, and we'll go sprint events next week with a 400 IM at the end, which is a pretty brutal event as well. So now we're just on a little recovery time, and we'll have up the 200 fly next.
So what sort of schools are participating right now with CBU in this virtual event? Anybody close?
Well, actually, Grand Canyon, who is a conference foe, is in it. I did notice Kansas University, Northern Michigan, 2 really strong Division I schools on both the men's and women's side. Those are ones that I noticed. There's some other schools like Duquesne. I should I should pull up my phone. I could actually pull up the results for you and kind of read through it. I know last week Scott Tolman won a 53.93 in the 100 breaststroke, which posted the fastest time in the meet. So he actually won that event. If you can hold that time through the CSCAA National Invite Meet, which is mid-March, he'll win an award for posting the fastest time in the virtual meet.
Okay.
So we'll see if some athletes can hold. Our men's relays did quite well last week, as well as our women's relays. And like I said, our women were top 10 and our men were runner-up last week.
That's great.
Yeah.
So nobody else in California? There's just CBU, or?
We had actually, I thought I noticed Biola had signed up to be in the meet as well, and they're just back into training now. Schools, opened their facilities for them to train. I have not noticed anyone else. I know some teams are just getting back into training to where they really don't want to show what they have in meets yet because they're a little behind us in training. So we've been really blessed to have 9 weeks of training.
Yeah, for sure.
And mostly out-of-state schools is what you're seeing. California has been very conservative on You know, LA County schools, even like UCLA and SC, started quite late.
Yeah.
UCSD, there's just some schools to mention. USC, UCLA, LMU. Pepperdine hasn't even had a practice yet on the women's side. They kept everybody off campus. So LA County was very tight on the COVID return to classes and campus.
I mean, as they should have been.
Yeah,
for sure.
we're a different county, so different here. I'll probably go over to the other mic here shortly and announce the 200 fly. Did you have any other questions for me?
I think that's all for now. I want to thank you for coming on, Coach.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Get some filler time through the 1,000. That's a tough race.
For sure. Well, I appreciate it. And,
all right.
Best of luck rest of the training, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All righty. We'll go ahead and step aside. More from this CSCAA Fall Virtual Swim Meets in Riverside in a moment.
Your first set of wheels didn't come with complications, or strings, or hassles. It can be that way again. There's a simpler way to buy tires. At Tire Pros.
We're hassle-free, guaranteed.
Lane 2, Hannah Holton. Lane 3, Rita Smirnova. Lane 4, Isabella Rhodes. And lane 5, senior Jenna Washburn. All right. Would you guys like to do a ISL entry? How about the ladies do an ISL entry? We'll announce you one by one. Want to do it?
We don't have our jackets.
Once again, back at the Lancer Aquatic Center in Riverside, I'm Travis Van Odie. Continuing on this morning and this afternoon with a CSCAA Fall Virtual Swimming Meet for the Lancers, an intra-squad scrimmage, of course. Well, so far, we've had the women's 400-yard freestyle relay than the men. And events 3 and 4 were combined. The women's 1,000-yard freestyle and the men's 1,000-yard freestyle. Now, it's the women's 100-yard freestyle. When lane 1 is Mia Maspers. Lane 2, Hannah Holton. Lane 3, Rita Smirnova. Lane 4, Isabella Rhodes. And finally, Jenna Washburn in lane 5. This is going to be a quick one, obviously, the 100-yard freestyle. That's close, but just out in front, Rita Smirnova in lane 3. Halfway through, looks like it's still Rita Smirnova, the junior. Just a slight lead over lane 4's Isabella Rhodes. And into the final stretch. Smirnova and Rhodes. It's going to come down to lanes 3 and 4.
And it looks like lane number 4, Isabella Rhodes.
Just edging it out is Isabella Rhodes in lane 4. 54.12. 54.24 for Rita Smirnova. Followed by lane 5's Jenna Washburn, 55.90. And then lane 1, Mia Maspers, 56.18. Followed by, lastly, Hannah Holton, 58.06. So a competitive 100-yard freestyle there. And taking it, Isabella Rhodes, 54.12. Event number 6 on tap. So those pretty decent times. The NCAA qualifying standard 41.71, just FYI. So in lane 1, Matthias Scarano. In lane 2, Matthew Nicali. In lane 3, Josh Walters. And in lane 4, Jacob Leahy. Out of the first turn. Just ahead looks like Josh Walters in lane 3, but it's close. And into the final turn. Just a hair ahead, looks like Matthew Nicolay. Very nice. Jacob Leahy actually comes in first in lane 4, 49.36. Followed by lane 2 is Matthew Nicolay, 49.43. And in lane 3, Josh Walters, 49.53. So all at 49. Those three swimmers. Two very competitive 100-yard freestyles with the women and the men. Moving right along to event number 7, women's 200-yard butterfly. It's been all freestyle. Well, we see the first butterfly event of the morning. In lane 1 is Bianca Hoyer. Lane 2, Hunter Luna. Lane 3 is in Nicole Cienega, and lane 4 is Kylie Morrison. Just a tad longer out of an event. It's lanes 3 and 4 out front, Cienega and Morrison. And the turn, it's Cienega coming out first. Opening up just a little bit of an edge. Nicole Cienega, the sophomore, in lane 3. And it's getting wider for the sophomore Cienega. In lanes 1 and 2, respectively, trailing Hoyer and Luna. Starting to become a runaway for Nicole Cienega. A really significant lead for Nicole Cienega. We've had a lot of competitive races so far today. So in the turn, Bianca Hoyer. So that was Morrison, now followed by Hoyer in lane 1, and in lane 2, Hunter Luna in last place. Finishing first, Nicole Cienega, 2:06.48. In second place is Kylie Morrison, 2:12.81. Followed by lane 1's Bianca Hoyer, 2:12.81. And last, Hunter Luna. And she clocks in at 2:33.92. Again, finishing first, Nicole Cienega, 2:06, 6 seconds ahead of Kylie Morrison in lane 4, 2:12.81. Followed by Bianca Hoyer, 2:18.79, and lastly then Hunter Luna, 2:33.92. On Nicole Cienega, the sophomore, an emphatic victory in that heat. Going to be moving on to the men's side, event 8, the 200-yard butterfly. Just going to be 2 swimmers At least on the sheet, it's 2 swimmers. And it's going to be 3 swimmers, looks like. So lanes 6, 7, and 9. So in lane 6 is Cody Meyer, lane 7 is David Miller.
We will have a 5-minute break after this event.
We'll have a 5-minute break after this event. That's close. The first 100, or 50, I should say.
Looks like DJ Arroyo, 25-7 at the fastest split. Lane 9. Cody Meyer just came out of the 1,000 free. Got to give him props for going 1,000 free to fly.
And as noted by the skipper, Cody Meyer just participated in the 1,000-yard freestyle. So 2 events later, and he's right back in the pool in the 200-yard butterfly.
Looks like Liga and Miller stroke for stroke right now, going into 150.
Well, Meyer is falling a bit behind, but competitive race up top.
Boys put down 30 points there, 30.1 for DJ, 30.4 for Miller. Looks like Miguel slowly pulling away. Miller right there. Let's see if Miller's got something left in the tank here.
Into the last bit. It's going to be lane 9.
And your unofficial winning time, 155.70.
Miguel Arroyo takes it in lane 9, 155.70. Followed by David Miller in lane 7, 156.77. So just about a second later. And lastly, Cody Meyer, 201.44. The time for another break. Events 9 and 10 coming up next. Women's 200-yard backstroke, followed by the men's 200-yard backstroke from Riverside.
Riverside has changed a lot over the last 65 years, but one thing that hasn't changed is Magnolia Heating and Cooling. Our family-owned business has been a member of the community since 1951. Our team is made up of local residents, and we're proud to support local schools. We've earned your trust by providing unparalleled service and treating every customer like family. Magnolia Heating and Cooling, trusted in Riverside for over 65 years.
Introducing bubbly sparkling water. Crack a smile.
We have the women's 200 backstroke coming out. Lane 1 will be trying Morrison, and the 2 is Isabella Rhodes. Lane 3, Rebecca Oviedo.
Once again, back at the Lancer Aquatics Center in Riverside, I'm Travis Van Nody. So glad you're along as we're almost at noon time, Pacific time on this Halloween day. Coming up is going to be event 9. First backstroke event, women's 200-yard backstroke. In about just a minute. We just saw the butterfly event. Women's 200-yard butterfly was won by Nicole Cienega in a runaway. And Rojas, I believe, in the men's 200-yard butterfly. Events from earlier this morning. Women's and men's 400-yard freestyle relay. 1,000-yard freestyle was men's and women's together as Brubaker, Bartlett, Mayer, and Harbauer all competed together. And then the women's and men's 100-yard freestyle. So now to the backstroke. Probably the most difficult stroke. This will be an interesting one. And just securing in place those time pads. Again, as a CSCAA, the Virtual Cup. With schools from all across the country competing virtually today. On lane 1, Kylie Morrison. Lane 2, Isabella Rhodes. And lane 3, Rebecca Oviedo. So some upperclassmen in this one. Morrison, a senior, Rhodes, and Oviedo, juniors. Morrison participated in event 1, the 400-yard freestyle relay. She was the anchor in lane 4.
All right, we have the women's 200
Morrison also in the 200-yard butterfly. Isabella Rhodes was the 3rd swimmer in lane 3 of the 400-yard freestyle. Also was in the 100-yard freestyle. And then Oviedo was in lane 3 along with Rhodes in the 400-yard freestyle. This is Oviedo's 2nd heat of the day. For Morrison and Rhodes, it's their 3rd. Lane 2, Isabella Rhodes out in front. A beautiful day in Riverside. So glad you're along. Glad to have a little bit of athletics back at California Baptist. Significant lead for Isabella Rhodes. Almost at the 175 mark. And in 2nd place is Rebecca Oviedo, and then Kylie Morrison in last place. Final leg. Going to be all Isabella Rhodes in the 200-yard backstroke. Clocks in with a time of 2:09.30. In second place, Rebecca Oviedo, 1:17.10, followed by Kylie Morrison, 1:18.15. For the winner again, Isabella Rhodes, 2:09.30, followed by Oviedo at 2:17.10. About an 8 seconds victory for Rhodes, and then Kylie Morrison, 1:18.15. Going to move right along to the men's 200-yard backstroke. So hopping in the pool in lane 1, Hunter Harbauer, followed by Robert Mosley, and in lane number 3, Trevor Van Law. Harbauer, a freshman. Van Law, a sophomore. The lone upperclassman is Mosley. And they're off. Harbauer competed in the 400-yard freestyle relay, as did all of these swimmers.
Before the 200 free and 100 IM.
Harbauer also was in the 1,000-yard freestyle. And that was the last event he was in, so Harbauer had a little bit of a break in between the 1,000-yard freestyle and the 200-yard backstroke. Mosley. Looks like this is just his second event, along with the 400-yard freestyle. And then Van Law. It's also his second event this afternoon. Once again, it's lane 2, Robert Mosley. Second place, Van Law, and Harbauer in lane 1. Kind of the same story this time for Robert Mosley. Significant lead. Through the final turn. Robert Mosley, 1:48.40. In second place, Trevor Van Law, 1:55.63. And lastly, Hunter Harbauer, 2:03.34. Robert Mosley wins it by about 7 seconds, 1:48.40. Trevor Van Law, 1:55.63, and Hunter Harbauer, 2:03.34. Going to keep it going now. Event 11 of 16. Women's 200-yard breaststroke. So after 400-yard freestyle, 1,000-yard freestyle, 100-yard freestyle, but butterfly, backstroke, and now the breaststroke.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Then lane 1 going to be Lydia Bartlett. Lauren McKenna in lane 2. Alexa Malara in lane 3. And Faith Brazil in lane 4.
Check your mark.
Faith Brazil swam the 400-yard freestyle to start off the day. This is her second event. Lauren McKenna. It's her second event. Alexa Malara, this is her first event of the day. Again, she's in lane 3, a senior. front in lane 4 is Faith Brazil. It has been a while since Brazil swam. In lane 3 is Alexa Malara, followed by Lauren McKenna and Lydia Bartlett. 4-3-2-1, the order right now. And a gap between Brazil and Malara, and McKenna and Bartlett. Unless Malara can close, it's going to be Faith Brazil. The last lap for Brazil. And it's still Malara, followed by McKenna and Bartlett. Under this final 25, an even bigger lead for Faith Brazil. Brazil clocks in at 2:23.10. Malara 2:28.82. 2:34.52 for McKenna, and Lydia Bartlett 2:36.25. So right down the line for the women's 200-yard breaststroke. Brazil 2:23.10. Malara 2:28.82. McKenna 2:34.52. Lydia Bartlett 2:36.25. Event 12 of 16. Three-man race in the men's 200-yard breaststroke. Up on the blocks in lane 1, Ian Bennett, the junior, followed by freshman Hunter May. And lane 3, Colton Babcock, the senior. Besides the 400-yard freestyle relay, actually, Bennett did not participate. Oh, there he is. There's Bennett, some 400-yard freestyle relay. This is Bennett's second heat. As for Hunter May, this is his second event, and Colton Babcock. Also his second event. So for Bennett, May, and Babcock, second event for all three gentlemen. Significant lead for Babcock. In lane 1, Bennett, and May just made the turn in lane 2. Bennett almost halfway down the pool as Bennett makes the turn. Or Bennett, as I should say, halfway down the pool as Babcock made the turn. This is Colton Babcock, still followed by Bennett. Runaway for Colton Babcock at 2:03.74. And there is a swimmer in lane 6 actually as well. Ian Bennett comes in at 2:12.90. And lastly, Hunter May at 2:23.9.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a 1-minute break.
So Colton Babcock wins that heat by about 9 seconds at 2:03.74. Gonna have another break. Coming up next, event 13 of 16, the women's 200-yard freestyle. Back in a moment.
That would be Mackenzie Dagan with the little halos on her head there. Welcome. You should have been in our classroom earlier. We should get you a picture of you at the Lancet board. You and Emma have like one of you each have your little halo and your special representation. Kind of like a horseshoe, right? You're black. So salt and pepper? All right. So you were the salt and pepper group? Salt and pepper.
My name is Zach Acosta, and I'm a freshman here at Cal Baptist University. I'm a business major here at CBU. I have a minor in marketing. My dreams are to do something in marketing. I also work here on campus at the campus store. I realized that, you know, I need to mature, I need to be responsible, I need to make more decisions on my own. I made my first purchase on my car that I bought all by myself, and it wouldn't be without Altura.
You care. You love. You provide. You shelter. You rebuild the broken places. And as you do, you meet needs. You build relationships. You share the gospel. That is the hope of Jesus Christ. That is Send Relief.
Continuing our coverage of the CSCAA Fall Virtual Swim Meets this afternoon from the Lancer Aquatic Center in Riverside. Once again, I'm Travis Van Ode. Thanks so much for tuning in this afternoon. Moving right along to event 13 of 16. So we're in the home stretch. It's the women's 200-yard freestyle. So just 2 events to go, women's and men's. 200-yard freestyle, then the women's 100-yard individual medley, followed by the men, and that'll wrap up our coverage this afternoon. I was waiting for the third and final swimmer to make her way out. In lane 1, Mia Maspers. In lane 2, Rebecca Oviedo, and Hannah Holton is supposed to be in lane 3. A couple of underclassmen in Maspers and Holton, and Oviedo Jr. I've seen a lot of Oviedo this afternoon. Oviedo in the 400-yard freestyle relay. And she swam in the 200-yard backstroke. Oviedo's third appearance. So just going to be the 2, Mia Maspers and Rebecca Oviedo. Out in front, Oviedo. For Maspers. Besides the 400-yard freestyle relay, she was in the 100-yard freestyle. So Maspers' third event of the day. Halfway up the pool, Oviedo ahead of Maspers. The final stretch. Rebecca Oviedo, time of 29:30 on that lap.
Come on, Mia, you got it! Go, Mia, go!
Maspers makes the turn at 35:45.
Come on, Rebecca, let's go!
Oviedo's official time, 1:53.84. A solid time for Oviedo. That would be good enough for top 10 of the virtual meet for Rebecca Oviedo. And Mia Maspers, 2:13.08. Just a 2-swimmer event. Again, Rebecca Oviedo, 1:53.84. And Mia Maspers, 2:13.08. Now into the men's 200-yard freestyle.
Thank you, ladies.
In lane 1 is Matthew Nicolay. Lane 2, Robert Mosley. And we have a swimmer in lane 4 as well. Nicolay, the first turn, just ahead of Mosley. Alonzo Esposito is in lane 4. First time we've seen Esposito today. It's tight between Nicolay and Mosley. Actually, not far behind is Espinoza. Mosley and Nicolay are both juniors, going toe-to-toe on the final lap. Nicolay a little bit bigger of a lead on Mosley. Matt Nicolay in first, 143.59, 147.23 for Mosley. And Alonzo Esposito comes in at 159.8. So Nicolay takes the 200-yard freestyle. Final two events of today. Events 15 and 16 going to be the women's and then the men's 100-yard individual medleys. Always a fun event. See the 4 strokes. Oh, 9 swimmers in this one. Bianca Hoyer in lane 1, Alexa Millara in lane 2. Lane 3 is Rita Smirnova, followed by Nicole Cienega. Lane 5, Lauren McKenna. Faith Brazil in lane 6. Lane 7, Jenna Washburn. Lane 8, Hunter Luna. And finally, at the far side of the pool, is Mallory Brubaker in lane 9.
Take your mark.
Well, this will be a fun one. The largest events of the day. 100-yard individual medley. Starting off first with the butterfly. Into the backstroke. It's close between Cienega and Smirnova. Into the 75. The breaststroke. Out front is 3, 4, 5. Smirnova, Cienega, and McKenna. Final 25, freestyle. Going to be close between Smirnova and McKenna. Looks to be Smirnova. It is Smirnova, 102.74. Oh, very close between Smirnova and Cienega. 102.74 for Smirnova, 102.96 for McKenna. Lane number 6, Faith Brazil, and lane 6, 104.57. Well, very competitive between Smirnova and Cienega and McKenna, but Rita Smirnova, the junior, takes it. And the final event of the day, the men's 100-yard individual medley. Going to be a 7-swimmer event. Lane 1 is David Miller. Lane 2, Ian Bennett. And lane 3 is Jacob Leahy. Lane 5 then, Josh Walters. 6, Trevor Van Law. Colton Babcock, number 7, and Hunter May in lane 8.
Take your mark.
There's actually an 8 swimmer in lane 9 as well. So in addition, head into the butterfly. Jacob Leahy, the first turn in lane 3.
The 200 fly feels like there's a piano on your back at about 150 yards.
Backstroke, it is still Jacob Leahy, the senior. 75 breaststroke. Way out in front now is Jacob Leahy. Final stretch freestyle. This is all Jacob Leahy. A runaway for Jacob Leahy. 51.59. Second place there in lane 9, 54.94. A 3-second difference. The victory for Jacob Leahy. Well done by Jacob Leahy.
Lane number 5, Joshua Walters, 57.29.
That's how it works, hero. I wish it could be like that. 1650s?
We go a little longer, so we mix it up, go 75 today, being creative.
There's some discussion if they want to continue.
Mix it up. We're going to go 875s on the 115, ladies and gentlemen. Right now the clock is at 23:49. We're going to give you 2 minutes to fill these lanes, so we'll start at 25 minutes, or 1 minute. We'll start at 25 minutes. We got 1 minute to go here. 875s on the 115.
Alrighty, that is it for our coverage this afternoon. And thanks so much for tuning into the CSCAA Fall Virtual Cup from California Baptist University. I'm Travis Fanotti. Have a great rest of the day. Goodbye.